Hello there! You're listening to the Pinoy MCU Fan, a bunk collective Filipino podcast where I get to talk about everything and anything Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm your host, Jim.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I've been away for a few weeks now because I was sick. You can still hear a little bit of tinge of sickness in my voice, but I swear to God, I am feeling so much better. And also, just a heads up, you might be hearing my AC because right now in the Philippines it's super hot. So we gotta turn the AC on to make sure we don't die of humidity and the hotness and everything. But anyway, welcome back, everyone. And I'm so excited for this episode because we're going to be talking about Thunderbolts, y'all. So if it's your first time listening to me after following me on Instagram, welcome, everyone. So again, my name is Jim, and my Instagram DMs are always open for you or any fans out there that want to talk about MCU and everything. And of course, if you guys do follow me on Instagram, I bet you guys have seen that you guys have seen my posts and my stories regarding this. I attended my first ever MCU premiere. Yay! Clap, 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 you guys. Yeah, oh my god, it was such an amazing experience. So shout out. Thank you, SM Supermalls, Marvel Philippines, for an amazing invite. It was truly an honor seeing the film, seeing Thunderbolts with an asterisk, one day ahead of the Philippine premiere on April 30. So that was amazing. And also, if you guys, I bet you guys already know this, but like Asia and also the Philippines get like a super early premiere date compared to the US. So like we're like a few days ahead, knowing that we watched it the day before the Philippine premiere. We felt kind of super special because like, oh my god, we're one of the few people that's gonna see Thunderbolts like way ahead of everyone else on Earth. That's like, damn. So, ito pala feeling nun. Parang, parang gano'n. But, anyway, I've been doing this, like, podcast thing on and off now for the past 3 years. And I'm not even gonna lie, getting invited made me feel very validated in a way that, like, wow, my small podcast is somehow making an impact in our MCU community, even though, it's kind of small, but like an audience is an audience, and I really love interacting with everyone. And yeah, so of course, for my first ever premiere, I brought my sometimes co-host with me, which is Jeremiah. If you guys remember Jeremiah, we do our annual Valentine's Day episode because he is my boyfriend. And, on that Valentine's Day episode, we just talked about the MCU. So, shout out Jeremiah if you're listening to this. He is forced to listen to all of my episodes. That's what I don't know. That's what boyfriends do. Kidding. Kidding. But yeah, he's the first dude who believed in me. And he also gifted me this very humble mic that I am using now. You can probably hear the roosters outside or like the AC humming behind me, but like it doesn't matter. I really love this mic and he gifted it to me. So, yeah. So, ayun. Jeremiah, Jeril, if you're listening, dude, na ROI na natin yung mic. May return on investment na kasi, ayun nga, nakapunta ng premiere. But anyway, I do hope I get invited to the next MCU premiere because we had so much fun watching Thunderbolts. And yun, sobrang saya namin na aga namin dumating sa premiere. And then, naging models tuloy kami ng mga cameraman doon. They were taking B-rolls of the event. And since ang aga namin, dinirekta kami like, okay, post po kayo dyan, tayo po kayo dyan, pipicturean po namin kayo, bibidyoan po namin kayo, post po kayo, kunwari po. Grabe, ang saya. Anyway, ayun yung experience ko. So, to see more of our shenanigans during the Thunderbolts premiere, just go to my Instagram account and watch my latest reel over there. I also created an IG story highlight, so go watch it, you guys, if you guys want to see what we did. What we did. Yeah. So, anyway, speaking of carving a small impact in our Love the MCU fan community, I am so glad that a bunch of you guys watched Thunderbolts during the opening weekend. Yes, hindi naman halata, pero after watching Thunderbolts, I already told my friends, and of course on Instagram, I told people, you guys should go watch Thunderbolts. It was amazing. I really, really enjoyed the film. I posted this on my Instagram story, but I just want to like repeat myself in this. Nothing truly beats a theater full of MCU fans because we were laughing, we were clapping, and we were cheering throughout the movie. It was an amazing experience. Like, I know if you guys have been listening to this show for a long time, I've always shared my experience watching Ant-Man and the Wasp in the mainland in America, and like how we went to the opening weekend, and the end credit scene in that movie was crazy. I had that same experience in this film. But for Thunderbolts, it was, aminin natin maganda yung end credit scenes nito. Pero, all throughout the movie, we were clapping, we were screaming to the point that, yung, I think, I remember like one of the staff in SM, when we went out of the movie theater, they were like, rinig na rinig po kayo sa labas. Ganon kami kasaya watching Thunderbolts. So, yun. Over the past few weeks, ang daming sa inyo na nagme-message sa akin sa Instagram. So, no, some of you guys even like, right after watching the movie, you guys went to Instagram and DM'd me. I felt so honored when you guys share your thoughts with me because I'm so happy na ramdam niyo yung excitement ko. Like, kung gaano ako ka-excited, ganun din kayo ka-excited. So, super thank you talaga for the experience and super thank you for, I guess, like, making me a part of your experience watching Thunderbolts. Usually I stress over theories, theories, plots, possibilities when anticipating an MCU movie. But for Thunderbolts, I literally have no thoughts. No theories, no nothing. I just went there, eager to see Bucky, and I just want to see if the A24 creatives, pull through kung totoo ba to. And bro, A24 delivered. If you guys remember, Letterboxd and Marvel collaborated on a Thunderbolts trailer. So, A24, yung film studio, they didn't really like, actually, hindi sila nag-produce nito or anything. Pero kasi, what's really cool about Thunderbolts is that some of the cast and most of the crew worked on A24 projects. And with this trailer with between Marvel Studios and Letterboxd, they did this trailer, diba, alam naman natin na usually for trailers, mga hina-highlight yung mga cast, yung mga plot, and yung mga action-packed scene. But for this collab trailer that they did, they went on a different route and they highlighted the fact that the actors, directors, and director, isa lang naman yung director, and the crew worked on notable A24 projects like Beef, Midsummer, and even like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and also Hereditary, and so much more. So, wait lang, before I deep dive onto that, let me just give you a rundown of the cast and crew real quick. So, this is gonna be a long list, but we're gonna pull through. Okay, starting off, we have the new Black Widow that we have right now, which is Yelena Belova by Florence Pugh, portrayed by Florence Pugh. We have Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, that's Sebastian Stan. We have the Red Guardian, which is David Harbour from, Stranger Things. US Agent, which is John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell. We have Ghost, who is Ava Starr. She is played by Hannah John Kamen. And then for Taskmaster, we have Olga Kurilenko. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right. I also don't know if I pronounced Hannah's name right. But anyway, for Bob, which is also Sentry and also the Void, he is played by Louis Pullman. And then we have Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. She is played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And then we have Mel. She doesn't have a last name. And she is played by Geraldine Viswanathan. Okay, now I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but I sure hope I did. And now for the other crew, we have director Jake, who also worked on Beef, which is on Netflix. I fucking love that show, so please go watch it if you guys have time. And Jake also worked on music videos, and one of his music videos that I really loved, because I am a Kendrick Lamar fan, is the music video for We Cry Together. That was a masterpiece. I love that song, and I love how the music video just made the song fuller. I'd say fuller because the song itself, We Cry Together by Kendrick Lamar, is a masterpiece already. And then just having the music video in this wonderful one shot is, I don't know. I just want to say it's an experience. For the cinematographer, we have Andrew, who worked on The Green Knight, also an A24 film. And then we have the editor, Harry Yoon, which worked for Minari. I've seen Minari, that one is good too. Project designer is Grace Yoon, who worked on Hereditary. This movie is by A24, and I fucking hate that movie, but it's so good. But I hate it because it gave me nightmares. I still have nightmares from that movie, and I am not a horror fan, so that film just scared the shit out of me. And then for the musical score of Thunderbolts, we have Sun Lux, who worked on Everything Everywhere All at Once. And yo, the work that Sun Lux did for the Thunderbolts theme is amazing. I swear to God, I love soundtracks, and the musical score for Thunderbolts is one of the best in recent releases. And I'm not even kidding because I love listening to musical scores, especially in the MCU. Now, one of you guys DM'd me. This is such a cute. I'm gonna say it's cute. It's a cute review of Thunderbolts because one of you guys DM'd me and described the visuals of this film perfectly. Sabi niya, ang sarap sa mata ng film na to. And it's so true. Like, for sure, the credit goes to the amazing A24 creatives in this crew. And it's not just that, because also the actors, we have three actors that worked on A24, which is, Florence Pugh in Midsummer. And then we have Sebastian Stan in A Different Man. That one was really good. And we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She did You Hurt My Feelings. I have not seen You Hurt My Feelings, but I heard it's a pretty funny film. Now, I admit I can get pretty like nitpicky when it comes to like the editing and the tone. But I'm so glad that Thunderbolts was like visually stunning and pretty uniform. Wala akong na feel, for me wala akong na feel na odd cuts or weird shots or like weird editing or anything. So as I mentioned kanina, parang yung diniem sa akin, masarap talaga sa mata. Ganon. Parang wala namang, honestly, aminin ko, walang shot sa Thunderbolts that made me feel like, that took me out of the story, you know what I mean? Even in the shame rooms within the void, aaminin ko, they look like, mukha silang movie set na parang, square lang to. But then again, maybe that is the point of having rooms within the void. You're supposed to feel like, oh, it's real, but also it's not real because kitang-kita ko square siya. This is just a room. Ganon. Speaking of masarap sa mata, alam niyo na sasabihin ko, guys. Oh my God. Bucky. Bucky, my man. Oh my God, I love him so much. And it's been years. I'm telling you guys, years since we last saw him on the big screen. Last time we saw him on the big screen, as in film, na malaki. Na makikita ko siya sa TV, na malaki. Yun. Tibing malaki. Sinihan, tibing malaki. Pero it's true, right? And so it was really amazing, seeing him. It was amazing seeing Bucky Stan, seeing Sebastian Stan, seeing Bucky on a quick lang naman sa Brave New World. Pero still, seeing him in action again on the big screen was just like, chef's kiss. Like, hindi naman halata. Guys, hindi naman halata na mahal ko talaga si Bucky. Pero, anyway, dude, this film was hilarious. It was really good. It's really hilarious in a way that like, it's naturally funny. Yes, Bucky was like super serious dito. What to expect? He's always serious. Pero he's so pathetically funny still. Like, yeah, he's serious, but like, he's having sarcasm now. He knows sarcasm. Like, damn, Winter Soldier, I see you. You're sarcastic now because what? You're a congressman for Brooklyn? Yeah, I think he's the congressman for Brooklyn in that film, right? Was it Brooklyn or Queens? No, I think it's Brooklyn. But yeah, he's showing a little bit more, personality in here. Speaking of personalities, we have Red Guardian. He's still Red Guardian. Yelena is Yelena. Yelena is Yelena. And of course, John is John. I love that their characters, yung mga personalities nila that we've seen from the previous movies and TV shows are really shining through here. So, particularly, we've seen more of Ghost as well, which is amazing because the last I remembered about Ghost was that she's always in this rush and in this constant state of like distress since she was basically dying. She was basically dying in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Pero now she's able to control her phasing. She's more chill now and determined as ever. So I'm really glad to see more of her personality for the first time. And then yes, we're here now. Yes, we're gonna be talking about sadly, sadly, yes, they killed off Taskmaster for the first time. And not for the first time. It's not like they're gonna kill her again, but like they killed off Taskmaster for the first like what? Within like 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes, I feel like. Within like the first few minutes of her appearance in the movie, she's like shot straight to the head. Like Homegirl. Homegirl only had like one line. In the whole movie, it was her first and last line in the whole MCU. And it was something like, I'm not here for you. In a Russian accent. I don't know how to say that in a Russian accent. I'm not here for you. Like that, probably. I don't know. But yeah, that's like kind of like the gist of her line. Parang, hindi ako nandito para sa'yo. Parang ganun lang, girl. I'm so sorry, sister, girl. Taskmaster, I'm so sorry that this film wasn't here for you either. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel. Like, Taskmaster, okay. Damn. So gone. And what's funny is that she's pushed. She's in all of the marketing too, so it's like kind of crazy. She's not even part of the Thunderbolts. She was barely in Thunderbolts, yo. Like, damn. So yeah, what made me like kind of like think her death kind of thoroughly was the fact that Yelena was not even shocked. She's just like, she's just oh, okay, she's dead. But like, shout out to Yelena too, because she was telling the rest of the team to be like, show some respect to her body. Yeah, so I guess that's something. But anyway, sorry, I'm also gonna be moving on, Taskmaster. So I really appreciate that they were. I kind of I have to admit, I appreciate that they were dogging. They were dogging on our man John Walker. Like, they were straight up like, this dude was supposed to be Captain America, but he's such an asshole. Like, oh my god, I really love the moment. The moment that Bob said that in the movie, the whole theater erupted in laughter. Because it was like, he delivered that line in such like casual manner. Like, this dude is Captain America, but he's an asshole. Yeah, that line, like, the line was something like that. And like, damn, I laughed so hard because I feel so validated when Bob said that. Like, guys, I gotta have to admit, I don't know, I forgot if I did an episode on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I have to admit, I hate John Walker. I'm putting it out there. I hate John Walker ever since his first appearance on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it feels so good to be finally validated that I hate John Walker. Pero in all seriousness, I'm gonna be serious. There's a lot of reasons why John Walker is an asshole. But I admit that I feel bad for him. I feel bad for John Walker. Kasi kahit naman dun sa TV show pa lang, the American military system failed him. The US government failed him. I understand the scene in the movie where he held Bob for a second. He was consumed by the negativity of his run as Captain America, which ultimately led to him neglecting his family, his wife and kid, and that ultimately led to divorce. So I know we hate John Walker. We hate John Walker. I still do. I still hate him. But Thunderbolts made him. I have to admit, Thunderbolts made him pretty palatable to us. Like, okay, I can tolerate John Walker now. Okay, kasi he was funny, and the way that he was funny is that you're like seeing this asshole being super confident and everything, and like, okay, I'm gonna let you be confident, you bitch. Like, it's kind of like that. Alam mo, pag may kausap kang G sa sarili nila, pinapabayaan mo na lang, and like, you just let them talk. And every time they keep speaking, it's the audacity is just funny. That's how it feels like. when they were dogging on John, but like, yeah, he was kind of likable. He was kind of growing on you on Thunderbolts, even though he was still an asshole. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my rant on John Walker. But yeah, now let's go. Let's go to Alexi. Alexi, the Red Guardian. The Red Guardian. Is that even a Russian accent? But the Red Guardian, it's pretty obvious. Obvious naman. Obvious na obvious. It's pretty obvious that he is the comic relief in this movie. But for me, it didn't feel forced na siya yung comic relief for this movie. Parang, I feel like that's just how Alexi is. That's just how he is. Kahit naman sa Black Widow, ganun pa rin siya, like, medyo pathetic siya in a way na funny. Pero it's true to him. Like, that's true. That's how the Red Guardian is. And I'm glad that the same energy, that he brought the same Black Widow energy to the Thunderbolts, but he kind of toned it up a little because now we're seeing more like daddy-daughter vibes in this film. Same with Yelena too. She's super straightforward and hilarious in the film, just like how she was in Black Widow. Okay, now, Val, si Valentina talaga, was pathetic here. I'm not even gonna lie. She was being sloppy. Oh, for someone who's like, I'm gonna say it. She was. Val was kind of like, they were kind of setting her up as like a Nick Fury, which I guess she did in the end. Surprisingly, she just took advantage of the situation. But like, anyway, this is gonna be a talk for later. Pero kasi, when we talk about Nick Fury, he's super secure in everything. Like, he doesn't really mess this up. Even though he has, but like, he doesn't mess up pathetically as like Val. But anyway, yeah, she was being sloppy. It feels so different from her like previous cameos and scene where she's like, the CIA director who is full of secrets and got her shit covered and everything else. But bro, in Thunderbolts, she was sloppy. Until the ending part, she's still being sloppy, but she got she got to cover. That's what she does. She gets sloppy, but she still gets to cover her own ass. Lalo na with that announcement, which again, an announcement that we will be talking about later. Okay, shout out to Mel though. Shout out to Mel, the assistant. What an awesome assistant. She basically covered up Val's sloppiness. I mean that is her job. But anyway, speaking. Now we move on. Bob. One of Val's many pathetic sloppiness is Bob, our homeboy Bob. I'm gonna say this now. This was one of the best debut in the MCU that we've seen. Bob, Bob, Bobby, Bob. Bob is such an intriguing character. I still do not know what to feel about Sentry and also the Void. Although we've seen Sentry, we got to see him as this like quote unquote prepared. I'd say he is prepared superhero. You know, merong isang buong kumpanya, a whole company who literally designed the not super soldier, but superhuman serum that he took. They designed his super suit. They designed his PR, yung PR press and everything niya. Nakita nyo naman, meron pang mga tagline, di ba, binasa ni Ava. I forgot, it was like, it's like something about like he's exploding suns, like something like that. He has the powers of like 1,000 exploding suns. I believe that line also came from the comic. It's also a comic thing. But I'm so sorry, I did not write it down in my script. But I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Now, the Void, on the other hand, a whole ass shadow realm that is basically just a drama dump dimension. Louis Pullman basically played like 2 to 3 characters here. We have Bob, the Sentry, and the Void. So overall, however you want to call him, iisa lang talaga masasabi ko. What an amazing debut in the MCU, diba? Shout out Bob. Shout out to you, Bob. Now, we all know Thunderbolts is a bunch of anti-heroes, however you want to pronounce it, who are forced to team up to do this mission, which is to stop Val and then eventually save Bob. These characters, we are aware naman that these characters are not team up worthy. Like, they're not worthy of like a team up. They don't know how to do teamwork. Teamwork is not in their vocabulary. It's not in their dictionary. For them, there is no I in teamwork. But somehow, this team kind of works. Like the mismatch of them, it works. The dynamics in this film, I guess I no no I mean the team, the dynamics within the Thunderbolts is first of all hilarious. I cannot stop talking about how naturally funny everyone was. Like each interaction is just, I don't know, naturally funny. We have a father and daughter duo. We saw a little bit of Bucky's like leadership, and John and Ava just wanting to survive too, but they still stuck around. Even though it's funny, they have those kind of dynamics in there. So I've seen comments. I've seen comments saying na kulang pa yung pagkaka-team up nila, which I agree, but also maybe that is the point. This is the first ever team up, quote unquote team up, and they all suck. They all suck at this because of the matching vibes. But it works. If anything, I felt beaten. I felt beaten with this film. It's like, please, I want more. Give us more. Give us more chaotic Thunderbolts. Team up, please. Parang I remember this one DM that said na nakakabitin yung Thunderbolts. And I do agree. I really do agree in that DM. Marami talaga sa atin na want ng more Thunderbolts. Now, the tone of this film is very dark. Kita naman sa cinematography pa lang na it visually looks, gritty, and dark. I'd say, I would argue that the gritty feeling comes from the, what do you call that? I forgot the term. But I forgot the term, pero yung parang film like noise in the film, the movie that's like a filter on it. It's a very nice touch. Even actually the darkness is also like the way that it's color graded. It's really good. Again, sabi nga nung DM kanina, masarap samanta yung film na to. One of the notable things here is that the first shot, diba? The first shot we saw a close-up of Yelena, and then she was doing this whole monologue about like how she feels bored, she feels alone, and she feels like there's a void inside of her, and then she jumped off a cliff. Like after that monologue, she just jumped off a cliff. So this monologue basically sets the scene. It sets the tone for the rest of the movie. These anti-heroes who have dark pasts, and they are just doing their best, you guys. They're doing their best. Yelena feels lost and alone because Natasha's gone. John Walker lost his wife and son. They're going through divorce, or they're probably divorced now. We have Red Guardian, who is, live, love, and laugh, but he desperately seeks the hero praise. Pero at least naman, he's genuine about, helping people for the hero praise. Now that I think about it, I don't really remember any motives from Ghost because they didn't really explore her void naman. Also, I think that's one of the things that they lacked with Ava Star, with Ghost. Like, why did she stay? She faces through everything. Pero ang hula ko na lang ha. Ako na lang nag-theorize. Ako na lang nag-decision. Hula ko lang she stayed. Because if she runs away, she doesn't know what's gonna happen. Baka patayin pa siya ni ni Val and everything. So, she also agreed na, sige, samahan ko kayo, patayin natin si Val. Stop, quote-unquote, stop Val, and then save Bob. So, and then we have Bucky. We all know naman alam naman natin lahat kung ano yung pinagdaanan ni Bucky. So, we have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for that. In that show, they showed us his road to recovery and how Wakanda helped get Hydra out of his head. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wonder what Bucky saw in the void, but of course, I guess it's also the best that they didn't show it because again, out of all the Thunderbolts, si Bucky yung reformed. Si Bucky yung alam niya na lahat ng trauma niya. He went to therapy. He went to Wakandan therapy. And then he redeemed himself in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So he's the best one to lead the Thunderbolts in their road of like recovery, I might say. And now, of course, we have Bob, his sentry in the void. Okay, gets naman na villain si Val, pero I feel like there's no actual villain in this film. But a threat, yes, we do have a threat. The threat was Val, and then it became the void. When Void took over a part of New York, okay, the whole New York, I can't help but think like, damn, New York City cannot catch a fucking break. Dude, like a few weeks ago, Kingpin shut down the electricity to the whole city to quote unquote control the vigilantes. Guys, please watch Daredevil Born Again. It's a really good show. Season 1 just came out, just watch it in one go. Tapos now, we have this gold Superman looking dude turned into a shadow man, the boogeyman, and is now swallowing New York in his shadow. Like, damn, what a city. Let's pray for New York City, y'all. Like, they cannot even catch a break. But I absolutely love how straight to the point this film is. Like, it tackles the darkness inside of us and it shows us a way to overcome it. My editor, shout out podcast editor Shams and I discussed this. Like, she opened up to me and ranted na, bakit ba ang daming shook na shook? Ang daming shook na shook sa topic ng Thunderbolts. Like, yo, this wasn't the first time that MCU took this route. Like, took the mental health route, the road. Now, the straightforwardness of the topic in this film has been truly a highlight for people. Like, everyone really raved about like how the Thunderbolts talked about this. Audiences are shocked, which is understandable, na very straightforward tong MCU film na to with topics like these. I admit that the general public only truly follow the films. So they're not really that versed with the TV shows. But Bob's situation when I was watching Thunderbolts, Bob's situation reminded me so much of Moon Knight. Oh my god, like the void with rooms was very similar to Moon Knight's, afterlife episode. And then of course the whole like Bob, Sentry and the Void, that's very much, Moon Knight with like Mark and I forgot that. Mark Spector and then the other British guy. I cannot believe I forgot it right now, but I did a whole episode. I think I mentioned Moon Knight in past episodes. Another similar episode is also, WandaVision's episode, wherein Agatha wanted to learn what Wanda has been through. So that's also, I remember Wanda was going through rooms as well. So let's not forget Bucky. Bucky in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who also, tackled this topic of mental health. So this isn't really the first time MCU tackled like issues like this. As I mentioned earlier, multiple TV series have tackled these and even more movies. Some older movies like Iron Man 3 is such a good example. I believe it was a film wherein Tony, he's going through anxiety attacks, panic attacks after the events of New York. So yeah, and then another good one is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We also have Multiverse of Madness. So many movies, MCU films that tackle, mental health issues. But it's very evident in Thunderbolts kasi Thunderbolts talaga was very straightforward. They take on these topics like head on, which is a very much a standout for most audiences, for the general public. They went head on into this topic and it really paid off in the film. Very consistent din talaga, like from the beginning, from the opening with Yelena's like monologue and then ending with Bob's void. And then the ending, like after nangyari yung kay Bob's void, the threat conflict of the movie was very evident. Like they're all facing their darkness. They're all facing the void inside of them. Yelena and Bob were exceptional in this film, but Yelena is truly the heartbeat and the center for the Thunderbolts with an asterisk. The film began with it began with her close up on top of the building and then her pretty dark, depressing monologue. And then the film ended up with a close up again of Yelena after telling Val something like, "We own you now, Valentina," something like that. It was like a full circle moment for Yelena that like at the start mukha niya she's sad and depressed and then at the end she kind of redeemed herself there and it ended up close up to her face and she looks more like relieved and proud and like she found another purpose. That's what she looks like at the end of the film. Yeah, so shout out. Wow, shout out Florence Pugh. You're amazing in this film and then I'm not even mad that she's the center for this storyline. Of course, in addition to the film's consistency, I wanna give a shout out. Shout out talaga. Kanina pa ako shout out. But like, I really love how the movie is very self-aware. It's very self-aware. So I'm very shout out to that. I'm very shout out to that. I'm very glad that it's self-aware. So now we're gonna be talking about the thing now. Yep. They revealed the asterisk at the end of the movie. Marvel Studios even went extra hard on their marketing efforts, like less than a week after the movie's like release. Yep, the asterisk means the new Avengers. So yep, as in the Thunderbolts with an asterisk are the new Avengers. So after they defeated Void and got Bob back, Val, the queen of Segway, the queen of Segway, she lured in the Thunderbolts into a press conference to announce that they are the new Avengers now. That's when Yelena went to Val and whispered something like, "We own you now, Valentina." But then, also when Yelena said that, y'all, the Avengers theme was playing, but it was a reworked Avengers theme. And then the asterisk reveal na the new Avengers na sila, and then like the movie theater erupted. Like the moment the asterisk, kasi meron yung title card, diba? If you guys remember, like an actual title card that they put the Thunderbolts and then they zoomed in on the asterisk and then they flipped it up to show the new Avengers. Yo, everyone in the movie theater erupted. Everyone cheered, everyone clapped. It was amazing. During our screening, ito yung part na sinabi talaga ng staff sa amin na, ito ata yung part na sobrang ingay namin. Kaya nasabi ng staff na rinig daw talaga kami sa labas. And then, books. End of the movie, credits roll. Yun yung nangyari. I'm sure if you guys are listening to this podcast, I'm sure you guys have seen Thunderbolts. But what an experience. But here's the kicker, y'all. When the credits started rolling, bigla ako nahimasmasan. As in, I cheered, I clapped during the reveal. I even shouted like, whoa, oh my God, like that. Pero bigla ako nahimasmasan. Yeah, I know, I screamed and everything, I clapped when the asterisk reveal happened. Pero bigla ako parang binuhusan na malamig na tubig like, okay, wait, hold the fuck up. What the fuck do you mean there are the new Avengers? Like, isn't Sam just restarting the Avengers? Isn't Kamala recruiting the young Avengers? Like, what the heck? What the heck is the new Avengers? What is this? And why the fuck are they working with Val? There's a car outside. I'm sorry if you guys heard that, but I am so mad right now when I'm trying to remembering that. Like, the new Avengers are working for a really sloppy CIA director called Val. And like, we also have a disgraced Captain America there. We also have Bob, who couldn't even control Sentry because it risked pulling out the Void. So like, what? We also have a former communist in there too. Like, we have two former communists from the Russians. Like, aren't America like scared of communists or something? I don't know. I don't know politics, but I do know they kind of don't like communists and Russia. So like, what is happening here? So that's legit. Like all of that was like racing through my mind because bruh, these cannot be the Avengers. But then again, the film is super hyper aware of itself. They are super hyper aware of itself, and the art and the headlines in the credit scenes were conveying exactly how I feel. So may headline doon na nakalagay, "Be Avengers, not my Avengers," and so on and so forth. Like headlines like those, both positive and negative. May mga headlines doon questioning the new Avengers. Like, honestly, I'm glad. I feel validated by these headlines kasi salamat. Salamat in-universe general population is also as confused as I am. Like, damn. Like, ang dami kong reklamo talaga. Bawat isip ko, ang dami kong reklamo. Tapos, lalabas sa credit scene like, "Be Avengers? Not my Avengers." I'm like, damn right. Damn right, I agree. Biglang ganun. Pero, to the point na ang dami kong reklamo. Pero ina-address kasi talaga lahat ng mga headline doon sa arts and credit scene. So parang, okay, thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for validating me. And then, the end credit scene came out, which is also the longest end credit scene in MCU history because apparently, sabi nila, it's one of the longest end credit scene kasi it's like it's more than 2 minutes, which is almost 3 minutes na din. So, in that end credit scene, they talked about like Bucky said na he talked to Sam and Sam is kind of mad. There are two different, bakit meron dalawang Avengers team and how are they gonna be addressed or differentiated or like paano mo ba sila mapagkakaiba kung meron dalawang Avengers team? Tapos dito sinabi ni Red Guardian na like they are the new Avengers with a Z. So yeah, and they even joked about like Sam filed a copyright of the name and whatnot. Pero honestly, that banter about having a bunch of like Avengers team also addressed my concern na din for that. So again, thank you ulit, Thunderbolts with an asterisk. So, ang dami ko reklamo pero na-address naman talaga nila agad. So like, kahit nga hindi na nga ako magreklamo eh. Parang I love how mixed feelings ako pero in-address naman nila. So for that, I say again, thank you. Ulit. Diba? Pero to be honest, when I think about it now, like, ahead of the Thunderbolts release, our community, marami na din talaga nagte-theorize na baka sila yung Dark Avengers or something, blah, 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 blah. So, the new Avengers announcement shouldn't come as a surprise, to be honest. Pero knowing me, nagulat pa rin ako. So now, yes, the part we are all waiting for. Now, as they were doing all the banters about the Avengers and then the new Avengers and then the Avengers with a Z, something entered Earth's atmosphere. Yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. And it was the Fantastic Four. As in, it was a spaceship. It was their spaceship, like, and then the camera zoomed in and it focused on a big ass Four logo on the ship. And then the Fantastic Four theme played. Fantastic Four. Amazing score in that film. I cannot wait for July to watch Fantastic Four because I know damn well the score is gonna be amazing. And I love listening to musical scores in the MCU. Anyway, again, when they zoomed in on the four on the spaceship, the theater erupted again in cheers and in claps and a bunch of shouting and cheering. It was an amazing way to end Thunderbolts. You guys know what's funny? If you actually read through the credits roll, you will see sa part ng music, you will see the Fantastic Four theme in the music credits. Dahil medyo lutang ako, dahil galit na galit. Galit na galit. Pero, ang dami kong iniisip doon sa new Avengers reveal. I didn't really notice. I didn't mind. I did read it. I did read Fantastic Four theme by Michael Giacchino is there. Pero isip-isip ko pa nga kasi we watched in IMAX and the IMAX intro, yung countdown ng IMAX movie, was using the Fantastic Four theme for its countdown. So I'm like, kaya pala, naka-credit pa rin doon. So hindi ko napansin. Tapos boosh, ayun pala, end credit scene, Fantastic Four spaceship cameo in the Thunderbolts. So yeah, overall, honestly, what an experience. Thunderbolts is such a good standalone movie. While it's still moving the whole MCU forward, it's very giving like the first phases of the MCU. So yeah, so I also have to admit I've only been watching the past MCU films just to see how its story will move the MCU. But with Thunderbolts, you actually want to see the film for these characters. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been like super Gina G with characters with recent films. Like the last time I felt like this was, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. We also have Multiverse of Madness. I have to say I really loved what do you call this? I have to say I love Brave New World because I love Sam. I love Captain America, but like there is also like it got like mixed reviews. So I respect those reviews because I do feel may nagkukulang din talaga sa Captain America 4. And then we have good films. We have good films since after Endgame. Shang-Chi, No Way Home. That's also great. Pero in recent like within the past year, parang or past 6 months, let's say, because I think we had was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. We had Deadpool and Wolverine, which is also awesome. So you get what I mean. Like parang ang dami-dami na lumalabas na MCU projects since those films, pero hindi pa rin ako ganun ka-excited. Pero with Thunderbolts, grabe ngayon na lang din na feel yung excitement. So ayun, parang super big bonus na lang din talaga yung fact na this movie will connect us with the rest of the remaining films ahead of Doomsday. So, which is, what we have next, Fantastic Four. So, someone messaged me this and said that Thunderbolts reminded them so much of Phase 1 vibes. So, again, I agree. That is so true. And, again, a lot of you guys also DM'd me asking for thoughts sa Fantastic Four reveal sa end credit scene. Naku, mga ate at kuya ko. Mga ate at kuya. Low-key spoiler siya, to be honest. Or maybe confirmation, I'd say. Kasi our community has been theorizing that somehow the Fantastic Four will need to cross over to our universe, to our main, to our main sacred timeline ahead of Doomsday. And then boogsh. The Thunderbolts end credit scene just confirmed just that. Fantastic Four in our timeline, yo. Confirmed na yun. Confirmed na yun yung magiging ending ng Fantastic Four sa July. So before we deep dive into Fantastic Four in our timeline thing, I feel like that's going to be a whole another episode. But, again, if you guys have more thoughts about Thunderbolts or gusto nyo lang mag-fangirl or mag-fanboy, my DMs are always open. So, that is it for this episode. And I'm so glad I watched Thunderbolts, and I'm so glad a lot of you guys talked to me about Thunderbolts. So, again, I'm just so incredibly happy, and talk to you guys soon in the next episode. Let's see what else we can talk about, and maybe let's start theorizing Fantastic Four and Doomsday. I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, bye everyone. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pinoy MCU Fan. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To connect with me, you can follow or message me on social media at the.Pinoy MCU Fan. The Pinoy MCU Fan is part of the Bunk Collective. Discover more podcasts at thebunkph.com and follow us on social media at thebunkph. That's it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!